The streets are lively and the people are singing. Buju Banton, award-winning international reggae superstar, is slated to perform this Saturday by way of his Long Walk to Freedom tour, which of course promises to be the biggest show to hit the British Virgin Islands. So to ensure minimal issues and a perfect production, key players inclusive of the public and private sector has devised what we call a Buju 411 guide to ensure that we have a seamless experience. Today, we speak to Mr. Keith Dawson from the BVI Tourist Board and Superintendent Amari from the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force. I'm Jovan Wilson with your Long Walk to Freedom information and safety guide for the Buju Banton Show.
May I assist you? Yes. You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
So as promised, I am in the presence of Mr. Dawson and Superintendent Amory. Welcome to 284 Media.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so to begin with, this is history in the making. I think we anticipate well over 8,000 people, in addition to our local residents, attending, I think, the most anticipated show in the history of the British Virgin Islands, Buju Banton performing this weekend. So before we get into the logistics, just tell us, Mr. Dawson, maybe on behalf of the BVI Tourist Board, about the privilege of hosting somebody who I think we consider to be a legend in the music industry.
Well, we believe it is a great privilege to be hosting who is essentially a reggae icon.
Yes.
Started out as a dancehall artist regular, I would say, and now he's really moved into conscious music. So I think it's a great privilege. We expect record numbers. We expect everybody to have a great time, and that's why the government of the Virgin Islands has put a team in place and put measures in place to ensure that things go seamlessly, that persons are safe, and so that everybody is free to have a good time.
All right. On the topic of safety, I know we will have a high influx of tourists coming into the BVI, whether, like you said initially, they were planning to come or the show would have inspired them to come. But we know for sure a lot of people will be in the BVI. What safety mechanisms do we have in place?
Well, Customs is they're having extended hours of operation. The details are actually outlined on our website, the website dedicated for this, bvitourism.com/buju. So that information, the details, as well as ferry schedules, customs opening times, and so forth, and other special measures that are being taken. Because there, for instance, Superintendent Army may speak to this, but there are at least 2 roadblocks planned, which would facilitate the movement of traffic on the peak hours for 2 events, one being the welcome party at Cane Garden Bay on the 14th, Friday the 14th of June, and also then at the main concert on the 15th, there will also be the roadblock along the Walter Francis Dual Carriageway, the westbound lane.
All right, so we'll get into transportation now. Everyone is in the BVI. I heard there's a shuttle service just to prevent traffic congestion and so on. Like you said, there's a traffic shuttle that will assist with that process. So tell me a little bit about that.
In speaking to the promoters, we realize in terms of getting down to Cane Garden Bay, Cane Garden Bay cannot accommodate the number of traffic that may go down, and then having the roads blocked off in the event that they have any sort of emergencies. So what we suggested is that having a shuttle service from the admin complex that will take persons over to Cane Garden Bay
and this
to minimize
is
the traffic.
Specifically for the welcome party?
Yes, that will be for the Friday the 14th.
At Quito's.
At Quito's.
Okay.
So we want to make sure that the shuttle service persons capitalize on the fact that listen, you can park your vehicle in town and get over and get back without having to take your vehicle down to Cane Garden Bay, which will cause some congestion.
As well as in Tongue as well on the day of the event.
if we're talking about the Saturday night, we're trying to organize some sort of shuttle service from the ferry dock to the area, I would say immediately in front of the Attorney General chambers in those parking lots. So
Just
at least,
around CCT.
yeah,
the
basically
CCT
to
area.
ease some persons who may not know where they're going, and at the same time, bustle persons up a little quicker than I'm having to walk up to the show.
So essentially, this will aid persons who are coming into the BVI or tourists, especially picking them up from the boat, dropping them off at the event.
Yes.
I actually have a little bit more information on that. We actually have departures for the persons arriving, the international arrivals, which will arrive at the Rotown Ferry Dock.
Okay.
The area, the parking lot across from Pussers and Bambouche, that parking lot will be used for the shuttle. A section of that parking lot will be closed off so that the shuttle can operate and go around and go up to the venue. The parking, as the superintendent mentioned, the drop-off point, I should say, for the shuttle will be in that parking lot in front of Lab or CCT and that area there. And they'll be going back and forth. For the domestic arrivals, they will be arriving at the CB Romney Tortola Pier Park. And that shuttle will depart from the seaside of the Central Administration Complex.
Okay.
And both services begin from 4:30. Okay, they'll continue going back and forth from about 4:30. And on the shuttle to King Garden Bay on the previous day, on the 14th, that shuttle starts at 7 o'clock, and the last one will leave Rotown at 11 o'clock. And that's also from the seaside of the administration complex. And that's they actually have a price as well. The shuttle that's running, they are going to have $10 round trip,
Okay.
or $5 each way. And the returns now, they start returning from King Garden Bay at 11 p.m. straight to 3 a.m.
Okay. And of course, persons are also encouraged to carpool and even walk, especially our local residents.
That's in King Garden, they're expected to carpool. We want to limit the amount of vehicles going down the area. Of course, residents of that area will be accommodated, but you can't all suddenly just show up and say you're a resident of that area to get down.
Understood.
You know?
All right. So back to safety, because I think this probably might be the biggest concern. We are not only responsible for ourselves and the local residents, we are responsible for the safety of the tourists coming to the BVI for this show. So what safety mechanisms are in place in the event that something goes wrong? Like, do we have first aid personnel on board? What if there's an emergency? How do we deal with that situation?
Well, the BVI HSA, or should I say, the hospital, we have actually met with the Red Cross and other NGOs, basically because we want to make sure that in the event there are any incidents or accidents, you can actually get service as quickly as possible. So everything on that evening or for that period of, let's say between Friday and Sunday, will be coordinated through the BVI HSA. So on the night in question for the King Garden Bay, there will be a team available, not necessarily on scene, but be available that in the event that something happens, they can coordinate. There's a private ambulance that I'm aware of that has been actually brought on board by the organizers.
Okay.
That is going to be available. And if it is an accident even at sea, the coordination is actually going to be through the BVI HSA, probably utilizing the visor or police and whoever else, customs, whichever agency is actually at sea or at the scene to deal with the medical.
So I know you're speaking on behalf of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, but I heard there's a private security aspect in place as well. And are you guys working together to ensure maximum security for the event?
Well, apart from the RVIPF, I'm aware that there are other private entities who are going to be actually providing security as well. I know Top Priority and personnel from the US Virgin Islands are going to join forces in order to actually maximize security, whether it be at the main event on the Saturday night, the Friday night, or over at Norman Island. So in terms of ensuring that there are numbers we are going to combine in order to ensure that there is safety for everybody who's actually attending the show and also for the general community. We are not just going to be dealing with just a show. We realize that there can be persons who are looking at opportunities to commit offenses.
Right.
And as a result of that, we are going to be covering the entire territory, especially Virgin Gorda, Tortola, Yes, Vanek, wherever it is. We're going to actually maximize our resources to ensure that there's safety for who's attending the show and who's not attending the show.
All right, so there is a code of conduct. I want us to speak to that. And for the persons who don't know, yes, it was devised specifically for this event. So speak to that for me, please. The code of conduct, what is allowed, what is not allowed in regards to your behavior, what you can take into the ground, what you cannot take into the ground. And I'm also hearing that there is no re-entry into the show. So let's get into that a little bit.
Yes, no re-entry. So once you're in, stay in. You can leave,
But
you have to pay to come back in.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, but the organizers have that in mind in terms of they have services inside it. Food and beverage will be available inside. There's restroom facilities in the existing facility, as well as there will be added portaloos and so forth for person's convenience. So basically, the conveniences that you need will be inside. So those are some of the measures that are taken because it will minimize the traversing back and forth, which creates another security situation.
Okay.
So as far as the code of conduct, again, I can refer to the website on that, but it definitely is talking about the way persons behave and respecting the other person, including being loud and cursing and causing disturbances. Those persons will be thrown out of the venue. You have to respect another person's right to enjoy the activity. Also, the superintendent will emphasize this, but there will be zero tolerance. The laws of the Virgin Islands is still in effect. Persons must know that laws of the Virgin Islands are still in effect, and the use of cannabis
any type of drug.
And any type of drug is strictly prohibited.
Okay. So no illegal substances.
No.
All right. I'm glad we made that clear.
And even added to that, if I may interrupt, zero tolerance to cannabis, smoking, and at the same time, we want to make sure that we let persons try and control whatever drinking you're going to be doing if you do drink, because by drinking, you can actually have spin-offs to other things. And, we understand there is expected to be a lot of persons on the road. At the same time, a lot of vehicles are going to be on the road. We don't want anybody who may become intoxicated running over somebody simply because they want to show off or simply because of alcohol. So we want to encourage persons as much as possible to be sensitive in terms of your alcohol intake.
All right, so act and drink responsibly. This show promises an upsurge in economic activity, I think, especially for the tourism industry. Do we have in place, I was just asking you this question, any key performance indicators to track I think the potential of a show, because entertainment tourism is a big deal, especially in the region. We see the potential, we see the prospects, we see the profits. And we are in a phase in the BVI where we're trying to diversify and test new industries. And I know we've dabbled in it a little bit in the past, but nothing to this magnitude. Essentially, I think if we were to pull this off with all the players involved playing their respective roles, it could become something we can step into on a wider scale. So what do we have in place to track the performance of this weekend's activities?
Well, some of the information, we'll collect some information from customs and immigration in terms of boat checks. The boats are checking the most number of persons that have come into the territory. So it's we can measure it in terms of the persons that come in and out during that period. And there'll be obviously a margin of error because we expect that we'll be looking at who are coming in directly as a result directly for the show. There are other events that are taking place on the weekend as well. There's a soca beat concert that's taking
That's the
place.
Friday.
That's
Yeah.
a Friday night.
Mhm.
There's also the boat ride with Original Born and Flames
Mhm.
and Cool Sessions Brass.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of economic potential. We know that the number of the rental cars are up. You can't find a rental car.
Mhm.
And if there's any out there, please let us know.
Let
the
us
choice
know.
board.
Right.
Also, accommodations, we have been circulating available accommodations. We put it on our website and on social media. So that has worked for some people. Some people have been able to book their accommodations by letting us know. And persons who are seeking accommodations at this stage, some of them have been able to get a referral.
I personally would have benefited from that
Yes.
by the BVI Touring Sports. So I do think the board stepping in and taking up their responsibility was necessary and appreciated. Superintendent, we've heard the number 8,000, and I think some clarity is needed as it relates to is it 8,000 tourists coming into the country, or is it an 8,000 capacity at the ground itself?
We're looking at 8,000 capacity for the field itself. I would say right now, I must say we are hearing mixed numbers in terms of our number of tickets sold. So, but we believe that it can accommodate 8,000 persons relatively well. As to whether or not we're going to get more, and that's a
You're not too sure.
No.
And I know we would have removed some of the vending, the booths, to accommodate even more persons. Do you think
Yes.
that makes way for even more persons to attend the event?
I can't say yes,
Mhm.
but I know that the disaster management would have done some geographical survey in terms of the capacity, given the fact that you have with booths being out
Mhm.
and what is going to be in the on the ground on the day, which is going to be the stage and certain tents and a few things in the back. But I can't say if more can be accommodated.
Okay.
We just have to wait and see.
There's one thing I'm not sure about too, and that is the timing of the event. I haven't heard persons really talking about what time the gates open, what time the show closes off. Do we have any stipulations as it relates to that?
The gate actually opens at 4:30 p.m.
Okay.
From what I was told, the show starts at 7:30.
Okay. Very early.
It is supposed to be the show.
Mhm.
Everything is supposed to be done by 12:30.
Okay.
So
All right, well, let's hope we can stick to that and not BVI time. So viewers are encouraged to come out early. Remember, the fun goes down this Saturday, June 15th, to the legend himself. Buju Banton is performing alongside Coffee, Capleton, Cocoa Tea, Pressure, Sister Joyce, Revelation the Royal, and Shine Eye. It will be historic, and we just simply cannot afford to miss it. Thank you so much for joining us at 284 Media.
you
I'm Jovan Wilson with your 284 exclusive.